On October 12th of 1921, a boy named Arthur Farrington was born in Detroit. Soon after, his parents divorced, and his father took custody of him. During the summers, Arthur spent his time on his grandfather's farm, where he found joy in molding the muddy clay on the ground, or the gumbo, as his grandpa called it. Tragically, when Arthur was 9, his father died in a car accident, and his mother refused to take him. Upon facing what could have prolonged into an unhappy life of abandonment, Arthur was rescued by a composer and music professor at Pomona College named Joseph Clokey, who adopted Arthur when he was 12 years old. From then on, the young boy was known as Art Clokey, and he went on to become an American pioneer in clay animation. After graduating high school and serving as a photographer in World War II, Clokey studied film at the University of South Carolina, where he learned from Professor Slavko Vorkapich, an Austro-Hungarian immigrant to the United States trained in aesthetic montage and avant-garde techniques. It was here that Professor Vorkapich taught Clokey the kinesthetic-style film principles of motion and physics that Clokey would later use in his clay animations. Shortly after graduating in the 50s, Clokey was hired to work on a commercial for Budweiser, where he was asked to animate a Swiss cheese sandwich having bites taken out of it. For the cheese, Clokey substituted clay, so that it would be easier to work with, and this got him thinking about the possibility of animating clay further. During a 2-week break between commercials, Clokey began experimenting with clay animation in his father's garage, forming it into abstract shapes, painting it, and filming it using the kinesthetic principles he learned in college.
Sometimes I move the camera, and I hold the camera and move it like this right over the set, just by hand. I was trying to employ the kinesthetic film principles that Slavko Vorkapich was teaching.
Little did he know that fiddling with clay on a ping-pong table would soon launch his career in claymation. At the time Clokey made this claymation film, a film he entitled Gumbasia, as a tribute to Disney's Fantasia, Clokey just so happened to be tutoring the son of the president of the Motion Picture Producers Association, Mr. Samuel Engel. Engel invited Clokey and his wife Ruth to a preview of films and suggested that Clokey bring his little art film, as he called it. By the beats of smooth jazz, the experimental freeform claymation film grooved and zigzagged its way into Engel's heart, who immediately wanted Clokey to make a children's animated program based on his work of clay. Engel believed Clokey's clay could improve the quality of television for children. Clokey appropriately named his first character of Gumbo clay Gumby, and he and his wife continued to make more characters based on geometric forms, such as Gumby's pony pal, Pokey, who Clokey even voiced.
Hey, this is Sleek, Gumby.
The characters in clay all molded into place, and after a couple guest appearances on the Howdy Doody show, Gumby was given his own television program, beginning in 1956, running through 1968, then revived as Gumby Adventures in 1988, and finally as Gumby the Movie in 1995. Along with his wife's Christian background, Clokey's animating skills also led him and Ruth to create a claymation program for the National Lutheran Church, embracing a God loves you message. Their new series, Davy and Goliath, ran from 1961 to 1975 and touched on issues of the time such as racism, teaching children that God's love is for all people. Whether it's to send his own love to children or to help them understand God's love, Art Clokey believed every human being is part of one big family. Through his programs, he successfully taught human values like friendship and respect to his viewers in a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood kind of way. Families welcomed his characters into their homes, not just for entertainment, but for the betterment of themselves. And the characters didn't just enter homes through television, but also as toys. Even though he was against the consumerism of the toy industry at first, Clokey realized the best way he could be with the children when not on TV was through toy versions of his characters, and so he established the Prema Toy Company, where Prema is a Sanskrit word for heart, a heart representing the love he gives through his animated clay characters. Clokey was a genuinely good person who devoted his life and talents to making others genuinely good. We don't just learn from his characters. We learn from him.